Hi everyone, Angie here, and I'm going to give you a bit of an update on where we're at with our homestead. If you're new to my channel or coming back, welcome back to Forever Young Homestead. I live completely off-grid with my family in New England. It's been a pretty busy week for us. We not only work our full-time jobs, but we're also working on getting our house and our homestead cleaned up. We're doing this with anticipation of selling our homestead, and I'm not exactly sure when we'll put it on the market, but nonetheless, it's easier to get things cleaned up before winter. And we've been extremely fortunate that we've actually had quite a few warm days. It's almost November, and I'm actually out here without a jacket on, which isn't very common this time of year. So if you are looking to sell your house, these are things you definitely want to do even before you get a realtor involved. You want to be sure that you are purging, getting rid of things that no longer serve value to you, and downsize and do a deep clean on your house. Because any realtor will tell you that is something you have to get done. So before we even think of contacting a realtor, that is what we're working on. And I don't know if you can hear in the background, our generator has been running for the past 5 weeks now. Our inverter completely crapped out, and we have been unsuccessful on getting an electrician that is willing to work on our solar system. So I think my husband and I, we're both taking a day off next week, and he and I are going to tackle the inverter ourselves. Now, luckily, I do have a couple of friends that are off-grid. Yes, they live in different states, but at least they are familiar with installing an inverter and what can happen, and could be just a phone call away. Our biggest fear is if we are not successful with installing the new inverter, that we completely have no power to the house. We were very, very fortunate where a friend of mine gave us a power bank, which has been extremely helpful. If you live off grid or if you do a lot of camping, I don't care, get a power bank. It is a must-have. By utilizing a power bank, it's been giving our generator a break, so we are not wearing out our generator. So I've been cleaning the house, and it hasn't been easy. I've got kids, and we all know kids can be messy, as with adults. And it has just been very exhausting cleaning room by room, going through things, and just trying to decide what to keep, what to not keep. Hasn't been easy. The other thing we want to do with our homestead is we want to get our property assessed. And independently assessed. Usually if you go through a realtor, they'll have an appraiser assess your property and your land. However, usually that is done by the buyer. The buyer usually will pay it as part of the closing costs. But before we even get any realtor involved, I really want to get an independent, not a bank-driven appraiser. And that can cost anywhere from $600 to $3,000, depending on their depth of knowledge and wherever we hire them from. Another thing we've got to get done is we have a septic and we have an artesian well. So right here are covers for a septic system, and we are most likely going to get that emptied before winter, because whenever you sell a home, if you are on a septic system, usually buyers will want that emptied before they even own the property. So I've learned this before. When I sold my other house, I had the septic cleared out, emptied, so I could show the potential buyers that, hey, the septic's good and it's been pumped. And that can range around $400 to $500. As I've said, I sold my previous house about 5 years ago, and that was when I met my husband. I sold my house and I moved in with him. So for me, selling a home I haven't done it in recent years, but I've gone through it sooner than my husband has. The challenging part for us is we want to go, and we'll probably revisit in the winter months, to the state we want to move to and look at properties. But what I'm debating is, if we see land that we like, do we get a loan and buy it, but then we risk paying on a land loan in another state while we're trying to sell our house? Or should we wait until we sell our entire house and then use that capital, buy the land outright, which I know can take 30, 60 days to purchase land. My biggest fear is we sell the house, we basically won't have anywhere to go. So that is a challenging part. If you guys have been through that or have gone through the process of selling your home while buying a new home or property, please let me know in the comments what you did and what you think we should do. We're on the fence about it, and my biggest fear is if our house doesn't sell well or doesn't sell for as much as we think it will sell, that's going to be a challenge. And that's in part why I want to get an appraisal done up front, so I know what to expect, because that greatly will impact on how much land we can buy, what kind of homestead could we build, and it'll depend, do I need to find work right away, or can we take some time off and establish our homestead and then work? So it's been a pretty busy week for us, and I thought I would just give you guys a quick update on everything going on. And it has been busy trying to work full time in our corporate jobs while trying to get the house cleaned up and trying to do a inverter solar repair in the midst of everything. It is not easy. And when you live on a homestead, you also have to remember, often you are your own repair person. So looking at other videos online, how to install something, or asking others that also live off-grid is significantly helpful, because they can speak from their own personal experience and give some tips and tricks on how to do something. My dad used to be not only a master electrician, he was also an awesome carpenter. And actually the studio that I have on our property, my dad helped us build that. And sadly, I lost him due to cancer almost 2 years ago. So it's been really tough, because I can't just call him and say, hey, what do you think about this wiring situation? What should I do here? And it's really hard, because I'll catch myself, I'll pick up the phone and it's like, oh yeah, I can't do that anymore. And it's hard. My dad, actually both my parents have lived in Vermont their entire lives. And for me and my family to pick up and go and move to another state, it's not easy. And it's something I've always wanted to do, because you only live once. I've been to Australia actually 3 times, and that was another place I considered moving to. But the downside is, now that I'm in my middle age era, it is very hard to get into Australia. I do have a trade that would transfer, but nonetheless, that would be a more difficult move. And I enjoy the off-grid lifestyle. There's an area that we are particularly interested in moving to, and I just paid my tax bill. My tax bill was $6,000 versus I could go live in this other state, have double the amount of land, and pay around $600, because right now we have to save $500 per month just for having the privilege of having our land in New England. And that is what's making it very challenging. And yes, I realize the economy in this other state isn't as great. I know that. And that's why I'm trying to get all of this information beforehand to make an informed decision on how much is our land worth, how much can we sell it, things like that. It is not an easy thing, but I like to research, try to gather as much information as possible, talk it over with my husband, and make an informed decision. So if you guys are in a similar situation, if you're trying to sell your house, moving to another state, or if you live off grid and you want to see how to live off grid, starting over, follow along, because I said I'm going to be transparent and take you guys along for this ride. It is not an easy adventure for us. It really is frightening in some aspects, but also exciting as well, because my husband and I can build our dream house and have more land, and I think my children will actually thrive better in a different state. So follow me and our homestead, hit that subscribe button, and drop me a comment if you have any questions or thoughts. I am happy to answer questions about living off grid.